It is time for the faith walk of the day. I had something else planned, but speaking of that song, speaking of I love God, I think I want to talk about how sometimes God challenges you to do something that will put you in the hot seat. That has never been done before. I often reflect because I've heard messages about how when God asked Moses to, and this is, I'm not comparing, I know it's this very different, but when God asked Moses to build an ark, he had never seen an ark before. Matter of fact, he had never even seen rain before. So he asked him to do something that had never been done. And when I was writing this song and I was thinking about it and thinking about what I wanted it to do and who I wanted it to reach and how I knew that there was this generation that was falling in love with music that just had nothing to do with Jesus, and knowing that I was a songwriter and equipped and prepared, I was coming up with this vibe for this song, and my husband did not want to do it. He was like, "No, you're a real singer. I don't want this song to just blow a hole in everything that we've done. You're a singer, and they're not going to look at you as a singer after this song," which is kind of what happened a little bit. But what I want you to understand is being obedient to God is the most important thing that you can do in your life. Even if God is asking you to do something that is uncomfortable, usually he's asking you to do something that feels uncomfortable. God doesn't usually, well, not in my life, work in the comfortable. It's convenient, it's comfortable, so do it. Usually I'm being stretched and pulled and challenged, and I know everybody won't get it, and I know everybody won't be on board, and it's something that I know down in my spirit that I'm supposed to do. I'm sure there will be many that will debate that, but I know for a fact that God challenged me to do something that was very different, to reach a generation that was not going to church, that was not clicking on a gospel show during the weekdays or even going to church on Sunday. And so we have to be mindful that we are called to go into the highways and the hedges. That means out in the world, not in the church, to reach the lost. And when you go out there, you have to go armed with the love of God. You have to go equipped and prepared to tell them who God is and how much he loves them. You can't go to a person and tell them about somebody that they don't know and tell them to trust them. Okay. So because everybody didn't grow up in church, everybody didn't have a praying grandmama, everybody didn't have someone covering them in prayer. And I understand that. So you have to find a way to present Jesus in a loving way that gets them to saying, "I'd like to know the Jesus that you're talking about. I'd like to know the God that you serve." And that is the point and purpose of being a believer, not to walk in self-righteous and better than everybody else. "You don't know my God. Let me introduce you to my God." Jesus was always loving and kind when he was on the planet, and he is our example. So no matter where you go and what area God has called you to, make sure that you take God with you and you represent him in a way that draws people that have never heard the gospel before, that have never had a chance to believe. That is our job. And whether no one else has ever done what you've done before and it feels uncomfortable, do what God has called you to do. It will serve a purpose. It will bless somebody and it'll stretch you at the same time. And I'm always up for a good stretching by the master, right? Because that stretch always makes me better. All right. That is my faith walk for today, ladies and gentlemen.